The Valley is agriculture. The Valley is manufacturing. The Valley is technology. The Valley is community. You're watching the Valley Podcast presented by the Tuscarawas County Economic Development Corporation. Hey, I'm JC, the Business Development Director for the Tuscarawas County Economic Development Corporation, and you're watching the Valley Podcast. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on around Tuscarawas County and a really cool event that we have going on. But before we get into all the fun things we have to update the community on, today we had a really cool event. John, do you want to tell them all about it?
Sure. Hi, I'm John Kelly. I'm also a Business Development Director for Tuscarawas County Economic Development. Today we got to gather up at Provia in Strasburg with Director Lydia Mahalik from the Ohio Department of Development, as she brought a couple of commendations from the governor, because a couple of weeks ago we were awarded the number 3 micropolitan in the country by Site Selection magazine. So, we have to share that number 3 honor with the city of Worcester, but we're really proud of the economic growth that we've had in our community in the past year. So we had about 25 people or so up at Provia today. Got to hear from Director Mahalik and just had a good time. We had a tour of the facility, which is really awesome to see what they're doing there and the growth that they have at Provia.
Yeah, and our executive director was not shy about the fact that we are coming after the number 1 spot next year. We are coming after Findlay. We have a place on our website where our companies can submit their capital investments to us every year. Stay tuned. Next year, we may be climbing up that ladder. Let's go ahead and get into our strategic plan update. And just for those of you that don't know about our strategic plan, we have 4 pillars to it. Okay, business development includes a lot of our real estate work and our infrastructure work. Grow diverse industry base is our business retention and expansion program that John takes care of. Development of talent pipeline, or another word for that is workforce development, is sort of a newer thing that we have taken upon ourselves to contribute to. And enhance leadership and engagement is just sort of our internal policy of always trying to get better. Diving right into each one of those. First up is business development. The New Comerstown Industrial Park has about 80 acres of developable land, and proud to say, hey, we've made the short list on a recent project, and project leads for that site have been on an uptick lately. So we receive project leads from Jobs Ohio, from companies looking to move into our community based upon the sites that are available in the community. And when we get those site presentations, we prepare a visitation with the site selectors and the companies, and we pitch them. We pitch them on the community. We tell them all the great things about our community and encourage them to move here and help us provide jobs. Another property we have is the Joy Development site in New Philadelphia. John, this is a very popular subject people locally like to talk about. You want to get into where we're at?
There's 17 and a half acres just on the south side of downtown New Philly. So people see it all the time when they drive down South Broadway, and they ask us what's going on. And we have been working on it. We got 6 proposals for how to transform the site. We're working with an architect. We've got a developer who's consulting with us. We're talking to some of those organizations that submitted proposals last fall. Trying to see, what can we do with this whole site that's going to be transformative, not just for New Philadelphia, but for the county. A lot of opportunities with the things, the resources and assets that are around it. So we are making progress on that. Maybe not quite as quick as everyone would like, but we want it to be a transformative site that, is good for a long time. We don't want to build something that's going to be empty in 5 years. So we're taking our time and doing it right. We're looking forward to a mixed-use redevelopment that will probably have some healthcare facilities on it, hopefully some commercial entertainment kind of stuff, and some housing. We're talking about different types of housing that might go there.
Yeah, key part of that is the environmental. There was a former manufacturer on that site.
Long time.
In order to really do these really cool things, there's some environmental issues that we have to trudge through. That takes time. And then, we've got to put together a development team and phase this thing out. Right now, we've got 3 phases in mind. The first is sort of our anchor tenant. The second is the residential piece. And then the third and final piece will be that entertainment commercial piece that John's talking about. So
should be cool, and I'm excited because I only live a mile from that.
Moving on to our second pillar here to talk about the development of a talent pipeline or workforce development. John, our key sort of initiative in this area is the Tuscarawas Valley Industry Sector Partnership, or the TVISP. You want to fill folks in on what that is?
Tell us about this set of acronyms that we use. Yeah, so a couple of years ago, we started inviting manufacturers to get together to talk about the workforce problem and to try to collaborate together on them rather than fighting each other for employees. Coming together and talking about what are the greatest needs, what kind of skills needs are out there, what do our schools, educational partners need to offer to meet those skills needs. We're using a model from the Ohio Manufacturers Association, statewide organization that pushes this industry sector partnership as a way to collaborate. It's really what it is, and try to solve problems together rather than battling with each other over it.
Yeah, it's a great point. So, you hear all the time that there's a shortage in skilled workers, especially in manufacturing. And so this is a way for manufacturers to get together and try to push young folks or older folks, even just different pockets of people into the skilled trades or into trades that will boost the number of available employees to the manufacturing community as a whole. So as a part of this, we've got some grants that we have applied for and received or been awarded. The first is the Charged Up grant, and with this, we're hoping to add some capacity internally to really, I'll say, throw some fuel on this fire that we have, this little spark of the TVISP that we have. The Charged Up grant is a way to really stand this organization up in the right way. And so that's really exciting. The Spark grant is from the Ohio Manufacturers Association, and that's some money that we can use for marketing efforts. And we're working with the TVISP and our team there to come up with what those marketing campaigns are going to look like. And then the Civic Lab Initiative is a multi-year initiative, really interesting program that they have that brings our local private sector together with our local educators in order to form a plan for the future. So a way to get curriculum alignment with the knowledge, skills, and abilities that the manufacturers need in the community.
And I love that Civic Lab. We were one of only 10 communities in the country that get to participate in Civic Lab for 2 years. So we're in the midst of that, and it's great for building communication between all the different partners.
And our next pillar, John, this is your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Business retention and expansion. So you want to briefly explain to people what is business retention, expansion, and attraction?
We often refer to it as BR&E. So that's basically my job. A big part of it is to go out and meet with manufacturers around the county. We probably have a good 125 different manufacturers, from a couple of people on up to we were just at Provia that's got 2,200 people up in Strasburg, just in that one facility. So I visit with companies, often get a tour of the plant, but talk to the leadership and say, what's going well? What are your challenges? What's keeping you up at 3 o'clock in the morning about work? Because there are a lot of resources out there for companies. And so we want to see what their challenges are and see what resources we can bring to help support the company and strengthen them, whether it's workforce challenges or they're buying new equipment or they're expanding the building, and there's some programs and grants to help with that. There's grants for training employees Sometimes I always joke, sometimes it's just going to the local mayor and saying, hey, there's a big pothole out in front of that company. I've done that twice and it never works, but at least I try. So.
Yeah. So how many have we done this year?
I've done 13, I think, this year, maybe 14. And I usually try to do about at least 50, sometimes 60 in a year. So it's roughly one a week.
It's interesting. I often joke with you because I say you're like you're a salesman. You have to cold call these companies and then try to get them to agree to meet with you. It's just you're selling a free product, right? My
list of companies I was trying to contact yesterday.
Yeah, so companies, if you receive a call from John, it's legitimate. It's legitimate. Set up a meeting with him. Hear him out. There's some resources that he can bring to the table that you may not know about. So
yeah, and you mentioned I'm a salesman and I'm selling a free product. It doesn't cost the company anything other than maybe an hour of their time.
Yeah. So what are some of the companies you visited this year, and what are they saying?
So it was up at Metal Masters, connected them with Bureau of Workers' Compensation about some safety equipment and testing there. Been down to USA Label Express up in Bolivar. Wasn't a whole lot there that they needed at this point. Kurz Cash in Cummerstown we talked with back in January.
What are some of the programs that you often are able to sort of enlighten them on?
Yeah. The big one the last couple of years has been Tech Cred. And then Ohio Means Jobs has the Incumbent Worker Training Grants. Those are both grants to help train employees. We have also gotten small business grants through Jobs Ohio to help pay for typically new equipment.
That's a really popular grant.
It's nice. I mean, they can get up to $50,000.
And most companies fall under the umbrella as a small business, right? It's Is it 500 employees or less?
Yep, 500 employees or less. So we have one manufacturer that's over that number.
Yeah.
They're all small businesses in the eyes of the federal government, except for now Provia.
Yep. The last and final pillar of our strategic plan is the enhanced administration and engagement. This is sort of our internal and external attempt to make sure that we're all sort of either growing personally or growing as a community. And so one thing I'll talk about, John is already a certified economic developer through the Ohio Economic Development Association. I have one more class left, and then the capstone. So that's really exciting. And then, John, you want to tell them about the program that we're putting on for local leadership?
Yeah, we're kind of excited. At the end of this month, on April 29th, we have some of the lawyers from Bricker and Graydon. They're going to come here, and we're going to get the elected officials together, mayors and commissioners, to talk about and give them some training and insight into the different incentives that are out there as we're developing industrial parks and as we're trying to incentivize new companies to come and build here, or the current companies to expand here. So it's just going to give those elected officials a better idea what the resources out there are that they can use to help with business attraction.
Yeah, and it'll help them align themselves better with us, knowing what programs are available, what incentives are available, helps them understand what we can do for them, what we can't do for them, and who we can connect them with and how. So, first thing that I think all communities should do when it comes to economic development is get the training in place for the local leadership. So exciting. Moving on, we have a guest to add to our show. Brent is the Vice President, Business Banking at the Community Bank. Brent, we've set up a couple of questions here to fire off at you, and I'll just start off. Where did you grow up, and where did you graduate from high school?
Hey, JC, thanks for having me. So I'm a born and bred Zanesvillian. Went to Zanesville High School, graduated from there, and actually graduated from OU Zanesville later on. So I've been in Zanesville my whole life.
Great.
How did you get into community banking?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I spent a lot of years in the insurance and investment field, and And I got a call one day from a friend that said, "Hey, have you ever thought about working at the community bank?" And I hadn't at the time, but I joke all the time that some people have a midlife crisis and buy a Corvette. Well, I decided to change careers and got into banking. So it's been great. I've been here 6 years as of the end of this month, so it's been a fun change.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're here today to talk about the event coming up in Zanesville this year, Shark Tub. This was originally a Zanesville idea, right, Brent? Were you a part of that original Shark Tub event?
Yeah, I was not. So that goes back probably about 10 years. I think they had a shark tub kind of event, kind of obviously using the national program as the guidelines and trying to get some investors and things like that into some small businesses. So that's where it kind of started. And then I actually had a meeting with Terry Clapper and Cindy Voorhees at the SBDC about 3 years ago and said, "Hey, we'd like to maybe try to look at something like this, bring it back." And then she mentioned that there was a group already kind of starting one. And so we kind of coordinated and started collaborating then.
Yeah, and you guys have been one of the bigger sponsors of this event since we've picked it up and ran with it. You want to explain sort of how it's beneficial to a bank like yourself to promote and support an event like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think our region is built on the backs of small businesses. So I think just showing the support of that and getting that true entrepreneur spirit and giving them some support, whether it's financial. I know some of the groups involved offer some additional support in terms of education and economic, whether it's CPA or accounting, attorney, those kinds of back-end supports that some of these smaller companies need as they're getting started. So again, the community bank wants to be a partner in that, wants to help see these opportunities flourish, and you never know who the next Jeff Bezos or next Amazon is going to be. They come out of these small town ideas.
Great. So thinking through the first 2 years, I want to hear from you both. What are some things that really stuck out to you thinking back on the first 2 Shark Tubs that we've done?
I guess the thing that sticks out to me is just how much fun it is, because the people from the community that come in and they want to support businesses that they're familiar with. Maybe it's their friend's business, their child's business or something. And it's a great format where the community can get involved. You can pay $5. You can get a handful of Monopoly money, play money, and you can use that Monopoly money to invest in the companies you like. And we had like 100 people the first 2 years and in the whole crowd. And it was just a really fast-paced, a lot of fun for the first hour.
One of the things I'm excited about, JC, about being in Zanesville is the first winter we had. So we did it over Pritchard Laughlin over in Guernsey County. It was actually a Zanesville business. A Taste of Ohio wine, bourbon, and beer won the first Shark Tub. And they used those winnings to buy a ice maker that makes ice cubes for bourbon. So when they opened up, they had a ice maker on site that the funds were provided from this event. And when I go over there and visit them, I get to see a product of a little bit of our work. And so that's pretty cool. So that really sticks out to me is something from the first couple of years.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really good things going on in downtown Zanesville, right? I mean, there's a lot of effort with the freeway, a lot of money being spent developing the freeway and a lot of emphasis on redeveloping downtown Zanesville, right?
Absolutely. We've got a big project going on with the Seacrest Auditorium. It's going to be the center of what they're calling the Gateway. Which is just going to bring more stuff, more events downtown, which is going to help these downtown businesses. And like I said, the Taste of Ohio is kind of on the forefront of that, getting their spot. And with the downtown exchange and some other things we got going on downtown, it's getting back to the kind of that Americana, kind of old school 50s downtown.
Yeah, I briefly worked downtown Zanesville. I love it. It's a beautiful community, and I can't wait to see it in a couple years when all of it really ties together. It's a really interesting community in the region that I think has a lot of really good potential in terms of development and impact for region wide. I'll add that I haven't brought the kids to this yet. I'm planning on it this year though. This is really something that the whole family could do. Right. And I'm kind of excited to bring the kids because, you give them $5 a piece give them their own money, and then they get to go out and engage these businesses and then make their own pick. When I think about a good family night out on the town, I can't think of a better way to do it, a funner way to do it. There's even food, right? So, yeah. It's really just a well-rounded, fun event that I think if you haven't been to one, you should really try to get out to one.
Yeah, the event is catered. It's free food, so, you can enjoy that. But it is a lot of fun. I love the fact, too, that for the competitors, they have an opportunity to win some money. We have about $7,000 right now to give away. And we'll give that away in 2 segments to 2 different winners so they can get some free money to build and strengthen their company. But they also get to meet potential new customers. And I know some of the competitors last year are customers of other competitors.
Right.
And we're actually using one of the winners from last year to do some of our printing and stuff and help with marketing. So right. Great way to build your customer base.
Shark Tub, the 3rd annual East Central Ohio Business Pitch Competition. That's Thursday, April 24th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Zane State College Campus Center. That's 1555 Newark Road, Zanesville, Ohio. And you sign up, businesses that want to sign up, it's www.tuskedc.com/Shark Tub. This year we got some new rule changes. We've decided to tighten up the region that we're allowing businesses to come from. And there's some other kind of cool rule changes. John, do you want to talk about the People's Champion?
Sure. Every year we're trying to improve the event. And one of the things we talked a lot about last year was sort of the popularity contest and wanting to kind of manage that so it's not just a popularity contest. We created a whole new scoring matrix for the judges. We're going to have an overall winner, and then we're going to have a People's Choice Award for the company that gets the most investment of that monopoly money from the crowd. They're going to be the People's Choice Award.
You don't want to lose the fun, right? You got to keep the fun.
Yeah, because that's really the fun part.
It is. I think the popularity contest thing is a fair point, but it's also what makes the event fun, right? It's the thing that engages the public, and so we wanted to keep that fun part of it, but at the same time we want to make sure that we're investing in companies, the best company that has the best potential to use this prize money to have an impact. So, Brent, when it comes to the Omega region, as we were talking about, where do we want people to come from? Where do we want to draw the line at? We chose the Omega region for a reason. You want to talk a little about that and why it's important for us to sort of say, okay, here's a really defined area that we're going to work with, and anybody outside of that, we're going to kind of shut them out.
Yeah, I think it's important to know that, a lot of the support for the event comes from the sponsors. As John mentioned, we're giving away some money. We've got some funds that are going to be provided for catering, and the event space is being donated. So we've got a lot of people kind of in the background supporting the event. So you kind of got to put some collars on it somewhere. And I think the Omega region being the group that's kind of started and kept this thing going, I think it's important to identify, a good place to pick from, so that number one, you don't have maybe a big city kind of jumping in, and then maybe they bring some different dynamics to it. So I think the fact that we've kind of put it down to that 8 or 9 county area is good, because that's where the focus is and where the dollars are coming from to support it.
Yeah, and I think as John's done this event for a while, and he really wanted to focus on bringing this to this region, because other regions have these competitions. In this area, this East Central Ohio region didn't have anything like this. And so I do think it's important to make sure, to your point, Brent, somebody coming down from Cleveland, they've got this opportunity up there in other places, and so is it really fair for them to have that opportunity there, and then in addition to that also get to come down and compete in ours? So I think drawing some boundaries is a good thing.
Here's some of the guidelines that we have for Shark Tub. The competitors we mentioned already register at tuskedc.com/Shark Tub. Those competitors need to be registered with the state of Ohio, so they have an EIN number up to 5 years. One of our competitors this year is right at the 5-year mark, so next year he won't be eligible. They need to be prepared to give a 5-minute pitch like a company would do if they went on Shark Tank on TV. A 5-minute pitch about why theirs is the best company and we should support them and give them some money to help grow their company. The public, we already talked a little bit about, can buy for $5 prop money to invest in businesses that they like the most. The company that receives the most of this play money investment will receive the People's Champion Award. Now, for the grand prize winner, that's just one of about 10 different factors in who's going to win the grand prize. We have a group of sharks, judges, that will be evaluating the business pitches. We're going to have the top three score getters give a 5-minute pitch. The judges then will pick the grand prize winner from those three. All the companies that are competitors need to be prepared to give a 5-minute pitch to the judges and really to the whole crowd. And the Sharks will pick the grand prize winner based on our scoring matrix that has about 10 different categories, including the pitches. So we have an awesome big wooden trophy that is being updated. We're going to post all of the past winners on that. The winner of this event will get to keep that trophy for a year, but then, so they do have something to keep. The grand prize winner and the People's Choice Award winner will both get a plaque.
Listen up, East Central Ohio businesses. If you want to compete in this competition, you go to TuskEDC/Shark Tub and sign up today. John, do we have a deadline for signing up for the event?
We don't have a strict deadline. Really would prefer that it happens at least a week before the event so that we can talk to you and get you prepped and you kind of know what to expect for the evening.
All right.
And they're blind.
And if you're in Zanesville, April 24th, make sure you come out to the campus center and check out Shark Tubs.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to come.
All right. Brent, we appreciate you joining the show here. John, as always, thanks for your input. And thank you all for watching and listening to the Valley Podcast.
The Valley is agriculture. The Valley is manufacturing. The Valley is technology. The Valley is community. Thanks for watching the Valley Podcast.